has been on prominent conservatives in the media that some feel have gone too far in inciting their audiences. David just told us that, look, we have a habit in this country. It's not necessarily a bad habit of being contentious about the issues and really battling them out in public. Arianna Huffington, the editor-in-chief of the Huffington Post, what's your take on that? Should we retreat to our corners a little bit, or should we have exactly the same vigor in our debates, but presented differently?
Well, I completely agree with David. This is not about eliminating passion from our debate. It's about eliminating demonizing our opponents, you know, seeing those who disagree with us, people to engage with for the sake of the country and for the sake of a shared agenda, ultimately, rather than people to demonize and see as enemies, as people who don't love America or who want to take us down a perilous path. And these are very two different ways to debate. And, you know, Jon Stewart said that when he did that rally to restore sanity, when he talked about the media being the immune system of our democracy, and we need to do a better job on that. And one more quick thing, we also need, all of us in the media, to focus on what is working in the country rather than just on what is not working. There are amazing things happening, people coming together to rebuild communities, to help each other in these tough economic times, using social media to do that. Recessionwire.com, howigotlaid.off.com, we've got time to help.org. All these things need to be celebrated by the media because it will help us scale them.
Good discussion. Mark, you're a prominent leader in the Tea Party movement. You are someone who respects a civil but passionate discussion. But the Tea Party movement did tap into anger that a lot of voters had for what they saw happening around them, particularly on economic issues. What does the Tea Party do now? Does it need to take an active role in toning things down, in reforming how this debate takes place while maintaining that passion on important economic issues that are crucial to your base?
You know, it's interesting, and Ali, I will tell you, I think I've seen it daily here now. With these state groups are beginning to form, what I've observed is that passion, that sort of visceral reaction that we had early on in the Tea Party movement has begun to transition. Social media has done that. We're seeing various state groups and coalitions building. People are focused on training. I mean, we've got, with American Solutions, for instance, we've got a number of conference calls this month alone on education, on economy. Right here in Memphis, Tennessee, we've got a major discussion going on between our Memphis City schools and Shelby County schools. Education's critical. I think what's happened is people, first of all, got very animated, right? They got very engaged in a core issue. And what they learned was that participating in politics is good for the community. And so very rapidly, and I've observed this in Texas, in Oklahoma, Mississippi, Tennessee, et cetera, very rapidly they've moved towards this organizational structure out of self-interest to provide power for the Tea Party movement, but at the same time to solve problems in the local communities. We saw that here. We just had our inauguration of our new governor in Tennessee, and a very peaceful process. Still, people had views that were antagonistic to some of his positions, but nonetheless, you didn't see angry crowds. You saw a reasoned discussion. And I would suggest that that is what is beginning to evolve very quickly in the Tea Party movement as they begin to take their roles in helping govern as opposed to being the opposition, if you will.
Right. And, David, one of the things that's important to realize in America is that everybody's got the vote. We do have a judiciary. We have a solid infrastructure in place. So we all need to behave in a fashion that doesn't pretend that we are somehow outside of the political operation, that we somehow have to protest and, in fact, use violent terminology to do so. We're all in the system.
Well, that's exactly right. And I think the president, going back to Tucson, really talked about America as being one family. We may have our dysfunctionalities at times when we have our arguments, but ultimately we do belong to the same family. And I want to go back to something Arianna said, which I think is important. And that is that the media does have a central role in this conversation, and that we ought to be looking for those instances when people are coming together and are changing. There's an enormous explosion of civic effort now among young people working in our schools and trying to do other things to improve the quality of life in this country. That ought to get more coverage. The Tea Party, as the Tea Party evolves, that we've just heard, into this constructive action, I think we've created strange stereotypes of the Tea Party, and that really deserves coverage as they evolve, so that we can help understand each other and see each other in as three-dimensional figures. Too often we're presented, and we present other people in the media as two-dimensional, even one-dimensional figures, and don't understand the complexity of human nature and how people can have good sides and bad sides, and we ought to be looking at the good sides too.
Excellent discussion. Thank you to all of you. It does help bring that conversation a little forward when we can show that we have different positions on things, but we can have civil discussions about them. David, a pleasure to see you. Arianna, as always, thank you, and come back again. Mark, you've been a good friend to our show as well. We'll continue with that great relationship. Okay.